Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's video on Tane Politics. So today we're going to be looking at the four most competitive or four most likely pickups for the Democrats in 2022. I wanted to do five, but the site I'm using only lets me do four. Because you can only have lean, likely, safe, and tilt. Oh, I messed that up. So just for information, this seat, it's John Ossoff's seat. They haven't updated the map yet, but this seat isn't going to be contested. And then so I'm just coloring in which party holds which seat, and the rest of them hold the GOP holds. And now the Democratic pickups. I think we can all guess the most likely pickup. I mean, it's an open seat. The three senators will be retiring: Rob Portman of Ohio, Patrick Toomey of Pennsylvania, better known as Pat Toomey, and Richard Burr of North Carolina. I'm just gonna make it easier. I'm just gonna color it this shade so we can tell the difference. Because obviously, I think a few Democratic senators are retiring. If I'm not sure, I think one of them. But I'm not going to bother coloring them in for now because we're just doing the Democratic pickups. Pennsylvania, easiest one. It's a Democratic state. Went to Democrats to 2008, 2012, and 2020. I think 2020 in Pennsylvania at least was just a fluke. So Pennsylvania is the most likely pickup. Now, the next one. So obviously, it's not one of these two because both of them went to Trump, big margin. The next one is Wisconsin, where Ron Johnson is not a popular person. It's one way of putting it, because after objecting to Pennsylvania's electoral results and Arizona's, I don't think he much is too popular with his constituents because he apparently was planning on objecting to their own electoral results. Then next, Florida. Because, let me fix that. Because, looking at the six most competitive states, there are Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Florida, North Carolina, Ohio, and Iowa. Florida is the next competitive one, because of Marco Rubio and stuff. No, what am I saying? I mixed it up. North Carolina is the next most competitive one, because Senator Richard Burr is retiring, and after voting to convict Trump, he's not a very popular person. That means he isn't getting that much support within his own party. Because the North Carolina GOP is relatively to the right of the state of the national GOP on most issues. It's a very Trumpian GOP, just like Arizona, where they have Kelly Ward, who's probably going to help give away the Senate race to the Democrats. Another video on that soon. Stay tuned. But okay, back to North Carolina. Now people are floating Ivanka Trump to be a senator from North Carolina, but whoever wins the primaries for the GOP is obviously going to be someone to the right of Richard Burr after what he did. And that means North Carolina narrowly elected Richard Burr in his last re-election bid in 2016. Not too close, but they did. It was somewhat close. In 2010 also, it was kind of close. But now that Richard Burr is gone, they're going to get someone even more conservative, and that's not going to be good for Republicans. And if they get a voter Democrat, someone like Cal Cunningham, but probably less naughty, they won't do it. So our last one is Florida. Why not Iowa? Well, the Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley, he is a hero in Republican circles. He's gonna get reelected. He's been there forever. He's gonna win the primaries for sure if he chooses to run again, and then he'll win the general because he's not as, how do you say, maybe extreme as Joni Ernst, the other senator from the state, and she won her battle against Teresa Greenfield, a moderate businesswoman. So Iowa isn't gonna go. The only other option is Ohio. I mean, if I had five, Ohio would have been my next one. In fact, I'll just color it in now, just for the sake of it. But Ohio is Florida is more competitive than Ohio. Actually, Ohio and Florida are kind of tied. But the reason I selected Florida was because of coronavirus there. It's extremely messed up. The governor Ron DeSantis is muddling it up big time. Marco Rubio is being a Trump pet. That's why it's interesting, because Marco Rubio might just lose his beautiful seat, and he's going all away. He's doing everything Trump wants him to do, because um it's public knowledge that he's trying angling himself for 2024 presidential run, and he has to start preparing for primaries. But he might just lose his seat because of how he's not doing enough for Florida voters. Because I mean, they did go to Trump this time, but white voters statewide did extremely well for Joe Biden. I mean, Hispanics aren't supportive of some of Marco Rubio's policies either, so he might just lose his seat. Ohio, after Trump winning it by such a large margin, I wouldn't usually classify it as a competitive seat, but the fact is, since Rob Portman, he's really popular statewide. I mean, Sherrod Brown doesn't mind him too. Lots of Democrats voted for him when compared to voting for any other Republican statewide, like Mike DeWine. And there's so many people who might want to replace him: Amy Acton, Tim Ryan, Mayor Whaley, Nan Whaley. I'm saying there's so many good Democratic candidates. Obviously, it's probably going to be a GOP seat, but it's just one of the